Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Just a reminder before we get started, we are premiering our very exclusive interview with Cannibal Corpse bassist Alex Webster this coming Sunday, April 4th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't normally promote interviews in my regular videos because that just seems kind of tacky, but I feel like I kind of have to here because holy crap, this is hands down the biggest fucking interview I have ever done, and I want every single motherfucker on the earth to fucking see it. Well, in this case, listen to it. I find it easier to do interviews without the camera. I don't know. Maybe it's like an autistic thing for me. I don't fucking... Look, the point is, Cannibal Corpse, Sunday, interview, fun, be there, or be fucking square. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Burn in Many Mirrors from Wode. This is the third studio album from this English black metal crew, their first in nearly 4 years. I'm not truthfully very familiar with any of their previous material, mind you, but I look forward to potentially exploring all of it after having heard this, because holy crap, this is one of the most satisfying pieces of fucking black metal I think I've had in 2021. And I'm well aware that at this point in 2021, that's a bold fucking statement, because black metal has been on fucking fire all year round so far. From Transylvania to Suffering Hour to Harakiri for the Sky to Demiser and Mare Cognitum and fucking Krallis and Tribulation, the latter of whom's Where the Gloom Becomes Sound is quite possibly my favorite album of the year altogether. So I know that saying this black metal album is great at this point doesn't really mean a whole lot. Black metal has been consistently great this year, but oh my fucking lord, this particular album, it ain't just great. It's kind of fucking incredible. It is a dark, mysterious, and genuinely intoxicating black metal brew, pulling influence from across the black metal spectrum, from traditional black metal, from black and death metal, from black and roll, and melodic black metal, with genuinely insane performances and perhaps one of the best sound mixes I've heard on any black metal record, including many of the ones we've just mentioned, not just this year, but in a long fucking time. I mean, it does an amazing job at sounding and feeling so gigantic without compromising the rawness, the intensity that is still expected of this genre. Put very simply, ladies and gentlemen, it's one of the best black metal albums of the year so far, and if we're being honest, maybe one of my favorite albums of the year altogether. Opening track Lunar Madness practically rocket propels itself forward with some very ritualistic and sadistic black metal, a lot of very aggressive, fast, almost thrash metal riffing here. There are these great groove-laden twists and turns all throughout that provide a little bit of extra tension and catharsis, but it never brings the track to a complete halt, or even really a temporary halt, quite frankly. I mean, this thing just rages forward with the utmost intensity and hellfire. From here on too, the album gets a lot more diverse, a lot more colorful, a lot more flexible, the track Serpent's Coil being an amazing example, which has the kind of epic doom underbelly to it that I would expect from like a Blackened take on Chemists, with some delicious, sugary sweet melodic riffs, some really great doomy grooves. I also like that later on it kind of builds on this momentum and transitions into something a little bit more raucous and violent, something that almost feels in the vein of like some primitive Megadeth or early 90s pre-Heartwork Carcass. before then transitioning back into some of the Blackened doom, even bringing in some very fucked up keyboards that make this sound genuinely quite haunting. Somewhat similarly, the following track, Fire in the Hills, seems to take a page directly from the Typo Negative playbook, with some very gothic, atmospheric soundscapes and some very harrowing guitars, and some very deep chanting vocals all throughout the track, interwoven quite beautifully with the band's already potent blend of venomous black metal. But the real showstopper here is undeniably, inarguably, the album's closing track, the monster-sized 3-piece magnum opus, Streams of Rapture. This thing has crippling fucking riffs and ominous epic arrangements coming out the fucking wazoo and working together in harmony to create such genuinely powerful music. The very opening has some foreboding, ominous keyboards and synthesizers that almost feels like something pulled from like late 90s dungeon synth, then transitioning into a very primal and brutal burst of like straight up extreme metal, almost on par with some of the most hellish material from like Slayer or even early Cannibal Corpse. Then subtly bringing in some of the doom and gloom of previous tracks, namely those very ominous backing vocals. It is just an absolute fucking maelstrom. In its craziest moments, I'm reminded of the utter insanity and intensity of last year's Providence from Ulthar, which to some extent I have to assume can't be a total coincidence, seeing as how both of these bands are signed to 20 Bucks Spin. The only concern, not issue, I have with this record are the vocals themselves. I really like how over-the-top and theatrical this particular kind of black metal vocal style is, but at the same time, it can prove to be very overwhelming and maybe a little silly. Like, this dude just sounds utterly fucking psychotic. He sounds like he's spewing acid, projectile vomiting like the demon girl from Exorcist. Just like, for like 40 fucking minutes. Imagine Jeff Walker, but from an alternate universe where Jeff Walker is in a black metal band and also possibly a homeless wizard. I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong, but I can definitely see it rubbing other people the wrong way. Not me though. Not me one bit. I kinda love this thing, in case it wasn't somehow already blatantly fucking clear. I love how gigantic this thing sounds. It's constantly keeping me on the edge of my seat. I was never really sure where the album was really going to go at any one point. It is just pure black metal chaos, pulling influences and spices from across the spectrum. It's like a big bowl of hearty, delicious, super spicy black metal stew, and I would feel comfortable giving this an insanely enthusiastic 4.5 out of 5. It is catchy, it is heavy, it is genuinely, if weirdly, kind of smart even at times. It is just consistently so well written, produced, performed, and executed on every level. There's not a single riff I would remove from this record, not a single moment of fat to trim whatsoever. It almost kind of feels like the edgy younger brother of the aforementioned Where the Gloom Becomes Sound from Tribulation. Except whereas that album was a little bit more majestic, a little bit more romantic, this one is a little bit more fucked in the head and would probably sacrifice you to some kind of ancient interdimensional god if given the opportunity. What more can I say, folks? I fucking love this album. I've got the 20 Bucks Spin store open on my laptop right now, and I am extremely tempted to press checkout and just order this fucking thing on vinyl. In a year already filled with some seriously fantastic black metal, Burn in Many Mirrors stands out as one of the best, which is one hell of a fucking statement when you really think about it. 4.5 out of 5, a seriously incredible record. Definitely check this fucking thing out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.